The regular meeting of the Painesville City Board of Education for Monday, September 13th is now called to order. This is same at September 3rd, 2021. Would you please call the roll?
Sure. Mrs. Briggs? Here. Dr. Humphries?
Here.
Ms. Powers Dolly?
Here.
Mr. Tackett?
Here.
Mr. Webster?
Here.
And if we would stand for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The goal of Painesville City Local Schools is to provide a positive learning environment that fosters the academic, social, and emotional development of students so that they may be successful in school and in life. Item 1.4, we need a motion to adopt this evening's agenda, please.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Samak, would you call the roll, please?
Mrs. Briggs?
Yes.
Dr. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly?
Yes. Mr. Chakshi, would you see if anyone has signed in to speak, please, on agenda items? We have two separate sheets back there.
No, we don't have.
Thank you. Moving on to item 3.1, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting from August 9th.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion here? Mrs. Samak, would you call the roll, please?
Dr. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Webster?
Abstain.
Mrs. Briggs?
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly?
Yes. The next regular meeting of the Board of Education will be Monday, October 11th, 2021. And moving on to item 5, the legislative report. Dr. James Humphries, if you would share that with us tonight.
So for the entire month of August, the Ohio Department of Health released updated quarantine guidelines for K-12 students and adults who are exposed to an individual with COVID-19 in a classroom setting. Of course, they'll probably release those weekly as we learn more and as things change. The week of August 9th, the Deputy State Superintendent, Dr. John Richard, announced that he will be leaving the Ohio Department of Education. And then on the week of August 23rd, the State Board of Education appointed Dr. Stephanie Siddons as interim state superintendent, and that is effective September 25th, 2021. Week of September 6th, President Biden released his COVID-19 action plan titled Plan Out of the Pandemic that outlines new policies on vaccinations and testings for schools, and a link to that plan will be in minutes. The Ohio Department of Education released its Data Insights report that provides information on how the pandemic has impacted education. The report focuses on 3 key themes: student enrollment, student attendance, and spring assessment results. And that report, the link to that report will also be in the minutes. And finally, something to watch out for: the state of Ohio is in the process of drawing new congressional districts. The redistricting commission voted to accept a proposed map, but the proposed map did not receive bipartisan support, and that is required by the Ohio Constitution to implement a 10-year plan. They need 60% support. Members of the commission indicated that the proposed map would be a working document. They're still in deliberations. They're supposed to have a vote on or before the September 15th deadline. However, if they still do not receive bipartisan support, they will vote again. So that is definitely something to watch out for, how they're redrawing these congressional districts. And that is all.
Thank you so much. Any questions or comments for Dr. Humphries? Yes. Now or later on in the agenda, we're not.
That would probably be better.
I would say later. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Humphries. Moving on to item 6, we need a motion for the treasurer's consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have 2 items tonight. One is for donations that were sent to the district. The majority of them are for the Harvard High School boys basketball. And then the other item is my current appropriations for the year. So we did temporaries on the June 30th meeting to get the year going. These are on current appropriations that will pretty much go through the majority of the year. They probably will change again because grants are always changed with ODE, and I mean, it's just always ups and downs with them. But this is a good indication of where we will be for the year. And so then these are due to the county auditor after they're approved tonight. Anybody have any questions?
I do not. Anyone else? Mrs. Stanek, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs?
Yes.
Dr. Humphries?
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly?
Yes. And moving on to item 7, that is yours also, Mrs. Stanek.
7.1 through 7.5 are the month-end reports for the month of August. Nothing wild or crazy, very straightforward.
Okay, this is a non-action item. Does anyone have any questions for Mrs. Stanek before we move on? Okay. Item number 8 is the superintendent's consent agenda. We need a motion here, please.
Second.
Item 8.1 is a service agreement for the Mentor Cares program. Item 8.2 is an agreement with Beechwood Schools for admission for tuition students. Item 8.3 is a service agreement with 3Ed Inspire. Item 8.4 is agreement with the ESC Northeast Ohio for services from Crossroads for green treatment. Item 8.5 is an agreement for services between Crossroads Health and PCLS. Item 8.6 is an agreement with Palmer Express for people transportation. Item 8.7 is a few out-of-state or overnight field trips. Item 8.8 is a memorandum of understanding with our OPC bargaining unit. Item 8.9 is an agreement with the Lake County General Health District. Item 8.10 is an agreement with Maxim Education Institution staffing. And item 8.11 is disposals.
Director Engelhardt, the agreement with the Lake County General Health District is a continuation of what we had started last year during the pandemic.
Yes, that's for nursing services. So we purchased nursing services from them last year to provide full-time staffing at every building, and we're continuing to do so this year.
Thank you. Any questions? Mrs. Stanek?
Mr. Webster?
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs?
Yes.
Dr. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr.
Mr. Tackett?
Yes.
Ms. Powell?
Non-action item.
Yeah, item 9 is a non-action item. This is the appointment of compliance officers for ensuring orders are being followed for sporting events or other activities where attendees come in. Currently, there's not a whole lot there's certainly no mandates, and the guidelines are kind of slim from the state. But as we enter into the winter months and as activities start to move inside, I would anticipate there being more strict guidance around how we manage attendees at events. And so this is the same as last year. District has to formally identify who their compliance officers are going to be. So that this is that appointment. So you'll see administrators from Harvey and Heritage. Any questions?
I have one. Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask are we providing them with additional compensation, or is exempt level administrative leaders, this is kind of considered covered?
Yeah. This is treated as an administrative duty. We have administrative coverage at all of our events anyways. So we're just appointing them as, specifically having this responsibility as well.
Thank you.
Dr. Engelhardt, my question was, at our July board meeting, when we discussed the masks and said that we were going to have a mask mandate in the schools, we at that time also had a discussion about masks at athletic events, because we wondered about, how fair is it to have visitors whose schools may not have a mask mandate come here and have to wear a mask. But are we not requiring masks at outdoor events? I thought we were.
No, masks, we're not requiring masks at outdoor events. We have them available at every event. We make, multiple announcements. Even after folks get in and get situated, we remind them to keep their distance, and that masks are in fact available if they want them. But it's at this time, it's not a requirement to come through the gates. And I'm not aware of any of anywhere that is making that a requirement at this time. Again, indoor, we'll have to really look at where we are whenever more events move indoors. But I've been at a lot of events. What I've seen is people being responsible about spreading out. You don't see a whole lot of masks being worn, but you see some, and generally there's the space as long as we're outside for people to spread out.
Because I was at the football game Friday and I saw their emails.
Yes.
Kind of surprised. So what's happening then, for example, volleyball?
There's space.
So are they wearing masks or not? It's an indoor.
Generally not. Generally not.
Okay.
Well, more people are unmasked than unmasked. But my experience has been I've seen more masks at the indoor events than outdoor, but there are fewer people there as well.
Right, but we are not requiring masks for indoor sporting events.
That's right.
Okay, item 10, we need a motion here for personnel items.
So moved.
Second.
Item 10.1, we have resignations and retirements. Item 10.2 is a reduction in force recall. Item 10.3 is salary schedule. That is those are changes to the salary schedule, or changes to placement on the salary schedule. Item 10.4 is change of assignment. Item 10.5 is employment. Item 10.6 is stipends. Item 10.7 is summer sub work. 10.8 is extended time. 10.9 is leaves. Item 10.10 is classified substitutes. 10.11 is certified substitutes. Item 10.12 is annual driver certificates for bus drivers. Item 10.13 is supplemental and pupil activity contracts. And item 10.14 is classified non-renewal.
Does anyone have any questions on these items? Mrs. Samek, would you call the roll, please?
Sure. Mrs. Briggs,
Yes.
Dr. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Webster,
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly,
Yes. Item 11, we need a motion for professional visits.
So moved.
Second.
Item 11.1 is professional visits paid from general funds. And item 11.2 is professional visits paid out of grant funds.
Any questions or comments? Mrs. Samek?
Dr. Humphries,
Yes.
Mr. Tackett,
Yes.
Mr. Webster,
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs,
Yes.
Ms. Powers Dolly,
Yes. Item 12, we need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I know there's discussion here.
No.
Okay, good.
No, you
That
don't
is
have-
determined to make me cry. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do it.
So,
Go ahead.
Mr. Tackett, you go ahead first.
I would just say, as I told you, we're all very glad that you found a new home and are very happy and excited about it, but, you know, you could have found it inside the Page Memorial. We're gonna miss you very much, and your insight and perspective have been greatly appreciated to me, at least, and I know to everyone else, but I can't speak for that, so. We're gonna miss you.
I would agree. I wanted you to do this, and you've been so good at it. And such a good person for me to kind of be a touch point with, make sure I'm viewing things in a reasonable manner. And your collegiality, your concern for our community, your concern for our schools, will be missed on this board. And yet at the same time, I know that even though you're living in the township, you're, can I say, Painesville girl?
Yes, I am.
And that your leadership in this broader community will continue to be seen, and we're counting on it. We need it. So thank you for your service.
Sure, like that. Professionally, you will be missed. You have been a wonderful contributor to our board. You've been a voice of reason. You've been a team player. All of those things we value. Personally, we go back a long way. A long way. And I will miss you. I'll miss you as a person, I will miss you professionally. I'm glad in our conversation that you said there's no other place that you would rather send your daughter than Hazel City Schools. So I'm glad that allegiance will continue, and I hope you will keep in touch with us.
Are you guys gonna make But yeah, it's been such an honor to serve on this board. It's been such an honor to serve with you all. Just to be here, to you hear different perspectives, to see your dedication to this school district and to this community is very inspiring to me. And I made it, I graduated from Painesville City Schools, even though I came late from Alabama, but I can't think of another district in this county that I would want my daughter to grow and to learn in. And I love Painesville City Schools and love being here, and I hope that she can continue. Future children can attend Painesville City Schools. But it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. And I'm not going because I want to, just because I'm no longer a resident of Painesville City, or I will no longer be a resident of Painesville City. But it's been, I'll always remember this time and I'll cherish it. It's been great. And I'd like to think I've formed some lifelong relationships on this board. And I'll still be here. Sitting on this side makes me more, more apt to sit on that side when I'm not up here and still calm and see what's going on and to still be involved. So thank you all.
Thank you.
So we will need a replacement for Dr., nobody can replace her, but we need someone to do the legislative report for October, November, and December. Do we have any volunteers? Mr. Tackett, thank you so much. Also, where we need to go from here is, according to bylaw 0145 of the Painesville City Board of Education, Dr. Engelhardt and I have spoken, and I've also spoken to our OSBA attorney in Columbus. And what happens from here is we have 30 days to appoint a replacement. It will be posted on the website tomorrow. The procedure would be that interested parties would apply in writing to the superintendent. It says to the superintendent in the bylaws, and I don't think that's what we did last time. I'm not sure. I think it was to the board, but regardless. And when that application process is completed, we interview all candidates and one person would be appointed. That person would serve, explained in the bylaws, either the remainder of Dr. James Humphrey's term, which is 2 years, even though she's been with us for 3, because she was appointed for a year and then elected for a 4-year term. So it's either the remainder of her 2-year term or the remainder of this year, of this calendar year, until next year's November 2022 election, whichever is shorter. So the individual that is appointed would be appointed until November 2022 and would need to run in 2022 for the unexpired term of 1 year for the board. So that information, and we have 30 days to appoint her successor, which would take us to the next board meeting is October 11th, which would be day 28. So we need to have that process completed or the probate court judge fills the seat. So.
And since we do have candidates running currently for board positions, they are welcome to apply as well?
They are eligible to apply. I asked legal that also.
Okay.
But it would be with the understanding that they're being on the board for 1 year.
Yeah.
So would they give up their candidacy or would their candidacy?
They do not need to give up their candidacy.
Okay, so then potentially we could have somebody apply who's a candidate, that person would be selected, but then they would win the election and then we would need to backfill that position again by appointment.
Well, I think we need to cross that bridge when we come to that, because Cheryl did not address, the attorney did not address that section.
Well, we'll just need to put it on the board. And
Each
candidates may have that question, so they can address you.
attorney said that they do not have to give up their candidates.
That's correct. And I got it in writing.
Well, they would certainly have to resign their seat then come January if they got elected.
Right.
And
So
then-
I don't know if we go to the board of elections at that point, if that person, if one of those two candidates is selected, we will know early October.
I'm just trying to understand, you would have to run in twice as many elections then.
Correct.
I thought that they don't have to run if it wouldn't be a year where a board position would be placed. If they're not placed on even election years, they're placed on odd election years
So they would be running in 2022 in a special election.
in a special, okay.
Yes. Yep.
So if there were a candidate who would like to find out more about this, are you the best person for them to reach out to?
Sure.
Because if I was a candidate, and I would kind of want to know.
Okay,
So
sure.
you would be the point person, which
Sure.
go through the website, email address,
Correct.
got it.
Dr. James, something.
Hopefully I'll see you all still.
You work with teams.
I know, right? You're right upstairs.
You're stuck with that fire. Yeah,
Yes, we
I
do.
do think we have to, do we have to? vote?
Yes, we do.
Okay, Mr. Tackett,
Yes,
Mr. Webster,
Yes.
Mrs. Briggs,
Yes,
Dr. Humphries,
Let's stay.
Howard Dahl.
Yes, reluctant. Mr. Chakshi? No one signed in for non-agenda either? Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to item 14, recognizing positive moments and or events.
I got to go to not last week's football game, but the football game before that. And it was great. There were so many people, so many fans, but everybody was spread out. Even down at concessions, they were, and it was just really good to see. It was middle school band night that night. So I got to reminisce what it was like when I had to do that. And it was Edison's first football game. So he was really surprised at how things kind of went and all the activity and the hubbub. And so it was really good. It was good to see all the kids so involved. The football coaches were crazy out there, and the kids did such a good job. The band did such a great job. The cheerleaders. It was really good. It was nice to be back and seeing something like that.
yeah, I would agree with you, and the band did really well considering, they had all of a week to prepare or whatever with the 8th graders, however long it was. Mr. Jones has jumped out of here just in time, so we can't embarrass him. But, yeah, it was good to see everybody again, see the marching band.
Speaking of the band, I did see just yesterday that there's going to be a Battle of the Bands again.
Mhm.
And it said it's October 2nd, but normally it's been in Lake County. This one sounds like it's in Hudson. Is that accurate? Do you know, Dr. Engelhardt?
I don't know.
Okay,
There is a marching band festival in this year, like usual.
yeah.
There are usually several band shows through the course of the year, and some of them down south, and then
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't remember Hudson having on
No, but then I've been to different places. I've been to
Yeah.
Solon and I've been
the,
to,
Madonna had one, didn't
there's one in North Royalton.
they? Yeah.
Does that sound like a place in Ohio?
Yeah.
Yes,
It is.
on the west side.
Yeah. In Geneva, I've been in Geneva, and of course, been to Pennsylvania. So, I
And the,
like the drum thing. Are they doing the drum thing?
Oh,
again?
drumline, I hope so.
The drum, you know,
For a couple of years, that was a United Way fundraiser over at Captain Stadium, and I've not heard if that's going to return this year.
good fun.
and with Ed over at Chestnut, we're seeing Mrs. Kruger in her maiden voyage, and it's been, I think, going really well. We're getting like a weekly editions of a newsletter, which is something that we didn't get in the past. And, you know, daily she's posting on social media different photos and, you know, just, I think, keeping parents more abreast of things. So it's a really nice change to see.
Very nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. Our new principals are, I think they're doing excellent work. With everything they're juggling in a new position, they're really working hard, and I think that they're having positive impact already. Thank you.
There's one other kind of what I'd like to talk about, positive note. You know, my role, I was at Cleveland Clinic with a lot of different people, and I was mentioning the work that we've done and the support we've had from our community for the challenges we've faced, whether it's around masking. My brother actually serves on the school board for Chardon, and he's been threatened. He's had they didn't actually attack his house, they mistakenly attacked a neighbor's house because the number was one number off. But as I spoke to the Cleveland Clinic leaders that I was working with that day, I told them how blessed I felt that I worked in a community and got to support and serve a community that is so diverse and so engaged and so caring for the well-being of one another. And so I would just say that beyond the borders of our school, in our broader community here in the city of Painesville, we're very blessed. I'm glad I've had the opportunity to be here, and I just want
And
to
we
say,
are one of the few districts that have not had issues with mask mandates and board meetings that are, you know.
community puts our children first.
Yeah, I'll echo that 100%. I thank God every day my feet hit the floor that I'm in Painesville City. I mean it genuinely. A little piggyback on that, something that I forgot to mention, I think is important to mention, is we do have student vaccines scheduled later this month. That information is going out to families. It does require, some paperwork on the part of the families, but we are going to have vaccines available for eligible students at school. So families will be receiving that information. Again, it's still 12 and up, so we're talking middle school and high school. But that's, everything that we see from all the major health organizations say that is the most important thing in bending this curve with regard to the pandemic. And so we're excited to get that information out to families as well.
In previous meetings, Mrs. Briggs and Mrs. Camper gave shout outs to the summer programs
Oh, yeah.
that, of what an amazing, job that was. I did, contact Mrs. Minnick about the lunch program also, and she provided me with some numbers which I'd like to share. The lunch box was in operation from June 3rd until August 6th, which was 46 days. And in that time period, they served breakfast and lunch for 7 days a week, with Friday distribution included Saturday and Sunday breakfast and lunch. The numbers for breakfast were 12,471, and for lunch, 12,895. So again, a shout out to Painesville City Schools. And for Mrs. Minnick's leadership and the service of her staff, who have gone above and beyond. Okay, anyone else? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?